Ah,
Hello, we are live on Monday afternoon with our guest Brandy from the Bookclectic.
Hello. Is anybody on?
hey, Brandy. Not
Not
yet.
at this
It takes
time.
a while.
It usually takes a couple of minutes for people to
To
get
wander
their
in?
notification and log in. And oh no, it's showing 3 people are
Oh,
in the chat. If I'm reading my little icon at the top.
nice.
Okay. So, Brandy, what for people who don't know your channel,
Mm.
give them just the $1.98,
Give them
thought.
the summary. Well, I read at least a little bit from every genre, at least, except for self-help. It's the only thing I don't read, but I read almost everything else. And my favorite genres are science fiction and classics. Right now, I'm on a paleontology kick, so I'm reading tons of nonfiction and paleontology. So just whatever. I just read whatever I'm in the mood for, essentially.
That's good. So, on paleontology, what are some of the interesting books or topics that you've been discovering?
All kinds. Like my first one was The Rise and Fall of the Dinosaurs by Stephen Brissett. And that was absolutely wonderful, just absolutely wonderful. You learned all kinds of things about the geology of Earth, the fossils that they found, how they discovered them. He includes some of the stories like from his own experiences of being a paleontologist. Absolutely fascinating. Like one of the things I learned from that book was they can now tell what color the feathers were on the dinosaur.
Really?
Wow.
Yes, yeah. They can examine a particular cell that indicates the color, and like for each color, the cell's shaped differently. And so based on the shape of the cells, they can tell you what color the feathers were. And they were just really brightly colored, like, toucans and peacocks. They had blues, greens, reds, yellows. They had the whole gambit of colors.
Hmm.
So it's a much different picture. Dinosaurs looked much differently than the way that we picture them now.
Huh.
I should say than we have always pictured them, I should say.
So
Yeah.
birds are dinosaurs.
Birds are dinosaurs. They are literally just a leftover dinosaur. Yeah.
What about crocodiles and alligators?
Nope. Completely different thing. Yeah.
Oh, really? Because
Yep.
I hate I don't know what it is. Maybe in another life I was eaten by a crocodile, but
Maybe you were, Alan. Hi, Lexi.
Hey,
Not
Alexi.
Lexi, Alexis.
You be careful what you say when that my device will go off.
oh,
Yeah, I
Alexis.
remember when I was a kid, they were described as big, dumb reptiles.
Oh yeah, they're not reptiles at all. They're birds essentially.
They basically moved away from that old theory about.
Yep. The whole thing. Yeah. Completely away from that. They're not lizards at all.
Were they still really stupid like they thought they were?
Nope. Actually, lots of those dinosaurs were highly intelligent. They hypothesize, no way to know for sure, but they believe that they were highly intelligent animals. So
Because I remember one of the textbooks, when I was just a kid, they said like they didn't have very good receptors, and that if you poked a brontosaurus in the tail, it would take a minute or so for it to feel the pain in its head or something.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember they had like a miniature brain in their tail to help send the signals to their brain in their heads. And I don't even remember him talking about those. He talked mostly about like the dinosaurs that were in the T-Rex and Velociraptor family, like those.
Okay.
That group of dinosaurs. That's mostly what he was on about. So it must be what he personally studies. So
What's the last hit, Alexis?
probably in a past life. Yeah, right.
I was watching last night in the middle of the night, like 4 a.m. I was watching what's her name? She does a travel show. I think it's on like PBS. But they were doing Egypt and Jordan and all that, and they're still finding archaeological finds in Egypt. It's really fascinating to me. And then I told Brandy I had a dream. I woke up at like I don't know 6:30 and the sun's shining. I woke up. I go, oh, I had a dream that I missed the show, and like, oh God, it's like 10:30. Oh shoot. hate that.
Oh, I keep thinking that one of these days that I'll do something in the morning and I'm supposed to be hosting my live.
Yeah, because we've been switching the time around.
We have. Well,
Which I don't mind. I don't mind.
We have guests from England, and you have Brandy has a night shift, so we just adjust.
Yeah.
And that's good. You get a different group of people in the afternoon than you do in the evening.
Yeah, I imagine that's true. You would get more of the British crowd during the day if you're broadcasting during the day.
Because it's probably just about quitting time out and about in the UK right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's 6, right?
Yeah, I know that Sean is 6 hours ahead of me, and Mark is 7 hours ahead of me. So it would be 6 for Sean and 7 for Mark.
Right. Ireland's 8 hours.
Hey, Sean, how's it going?
Hey, Sean. Yeah, so we got some English people already.
Already, they're showing up.
Yeah, I told Roz about it, and we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if Brian at Bookish shows up or MJ.
Yeah, a couple of people, promise to show up, but as I said, middle of the day and you get distracted. I had my Sun Deck, and I was trying to set up my laptop on my Sun Deck, but it was just the reflection from the sun that was just killing the screen. I couldn't see anything, so I had to move back into my basement.
It's raining here all week in Portland.
Oh, it's bright and sunny here.
Yeah. Speak of the devil.
Who showed it off?
Yeah. Who came in?
No, that's Alexis talking to Sean, I believe.
Well, Brandy's in Kansas, so
yeah. So
you getting good weather there? Or?
Oh no, it's beautiful here. It's bright and sunny, not a cloud in the sky. It's gorgeous.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a little chilly, but it's beautiful. Oh yeah.
Great. I can't wait for the summer. Spring is Sunday. We spring back here, the Pacific Northwest. We go back, so we'll be on the same time as Arizona. But yeah, we'll have to change our thumbnail, Greg, because we're springing back.
You're in charge of the thumbnails.
Yeah.
You do that part. I just host.
So the important thing here, Alan, my tarot reading.
Tarot reading.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay, go ahead and ask the question, and then I've got my cards here, and I'm wearing the T-shirt. So
okay, great. Okay, so my question is, will my current work path turn out positively? That's my question.
Okay, great. That's a good question. I'll do that like midway through.
Okay.
I won't do it right now, but let me. Okay.
What do you have to do when you do a tarot reading? Do you have to focus and all this kind of thing?
Well, I already smudged the area. So, and I smudged my glasses so that I might see correctly.
Smudging your glasses makes you see better? I'm just teasing you.
I'll just let it kind of ferment. I'll let your question ferment.
Okay.
And then I'll do a 3-card reading.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Do you ever do the full card? I mean, I remember there's a full card.
Celtic Cross. Oh yeah, 10-card. I do all that.
Okay.
I do horoscope readings with 10 cards, or I like the Celtic Cross. The Celtic Cross is my go-to.
A what? A who's he? What's it?
It's called the Celtic Cross Tarot spread.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 10 cards, but it's really informative. That's like a 30-minute reading. Celtic Cross.
Wow.
You can do a lot of stuff with that.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe stay with the 3-card for
Yeah. For sure. We'll do a three card one.
Okay.
Well,
So
you what?
no, I'm just talk about books for a while though first.
Yeah, I have a book that I would actually love to ask you guys about. So I just finished Beowulf, and I told you that before we went live, so you guys know that. But Alan, I know you haven't read it, but Greg, did you read that book?
I have read it a number of times. It's been a while since I've read it.
Mm-hmm.
I first read it in high school.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we had a very old translation back then, and
Mm-hmm.
and as a kid, I just loved it. It was just like totally fascinating.
Yeah.
You know, the stories, and then I read it again. I don't know, 15 years ago as an Audible book, and it was pretty good.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good, and I do want to visit again someday.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I have to be in sort of the right mood because I've sort of moved away because, you know, back when I was a kid, I loved that old Norse and medieval culture and just thinking about that. And like, it no longer thrills me the way it did when I was a kid, thinking about like the dining halls and the swords and the meat is okay. I'd still go for the meat.
You'd still go for the meat.
Mead, yeah, honey beer, right?
Yeah, it's actually pretty good stuff.
I had some mead one time at like a what do they call those back in Phoenix? They go through town. They go through town. Oh God, like the Dark Ages and medieval people who go around town to town and you get a turkey leg.
The Renaissance festivals.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, there's not one up here in Portland, but in Phoenix, they had a whole town. It was fun, man.
I'm sure you can find a Renaissance festival in either Washington or Portland every year.
Yeah, I bet you're right.
In Kansas City every year.
Yeah, it's a pretty regular crowd for most places. Now, they might not do a Renaissance festival like over the line in Washington and then one in Portland. They just might do the map and say, people from Portland can go up here because, you know, hour or so driving.
Phoenix had a big site devoted to it. Like they had an area that you would go to. And, you know, it'd be the Renaissance Festival area. They had a big one in Phoenix.
Oh, wow.
It was funny. Like, I'd love to watch the kids doing the competitions, like climbing the wall. And, like, I remember with this one girl, like a spider. She was like a spider. They ring the bell. You have to ring the bell. And then all the body music. And my friend, I'm going to tell an untoward story. My friend one time hooked up with a singer at the Renaissance Festival. And he went out with her for like 2-3 months. She wanted him to go on the road with her and all of that.
You see, that would be fun if I were, you know, single in my early 20s and Renaissance. Sure, I'll go with you.
Yeah.
I've never been to a Renaissance festival. There's a big one in Kansas City every year, and I've never been to it.
But now it's funny. Alan was talking about some sort of climbing walls with kids. Back when I was in high school, they had the Maryland Renaissance Festival. They had the Beggar Mud Show.
A mud show?
A mud show. That's
what the heck is a mud show?
Well, what happens is they had people in beggar costumes running around the festival, begging for money. You know, it's for a donation eventually.
Yeah.
But then they put on a mud show. They just had a field. It was all dirt, and they just mud and healthy, dirty, and if you got enough donations, some guy would put a mouthful of mud and go.
God. You get.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
And then they'd walk around.
And the women would come out, they'd wrestle in the mud.
Oh my gosh.
But that would be somewhat authentic to what you would see in the Middle Ages of people rolling around in the mud.
Yeah, it's fun, Brandy.
What
Do what?
about Beowulf
Renaissance
you want to
is
bring
so
up?
fun.
Because you brought up Beowulf, and then we just sort of drifted off and
Yeah. Right.
go back to what about Beowulf?
Oh my gosh, everything. What was it to love about that book? I I was just enthralled the entire time. I just thought it was really exciting. I loved the whole epic, old-fashioned sort of good versus evil conflict. It's been a really long time since I've read anything like that. Everything I read is, well, a lot of science fiction, and then but the year before that I was reading horror. Like in 2020 I was reading almost all horror because I had not read horror and I was exploring that. And then anything else I've read is always like gray, like evil is not really evil. Evil is this point of view type of a theme. You know what I mean? Because that's what I've always gravitated for. So it's been forever since I've read a good, just like good versus evil conflict. And you have Beowulf and his group of adventurers, traveling to defeat this horrible monster that has invaded this estate, this kingdom or whatever, and killing people, slaughtering them brutally, tearing them to shreds and everything else. And they have to get to the cave, fight Beowulf, fight Grendel rather, and it's just this epic battle. It's super exciting. It was so much fun. I just not had that much fun reading something in quite some time.
Wow.
It was great.
That's a big
I'm going to
endorsement.
make a suggestion for a book, though.
Do what?
There's a book that you probably should, if you just read Beowulf, there's a book called Grendel by John Gardner. It is a short novel, about 200 pages, that's narrated from Grendel's point of view.
Oh, really? Well, that sounds interesting.
Now, the thing is, it's sort of a existential philosophical novel about why am I a monster?
Oh, yeah. That's really cool. I will tell you, in the early portion of reading Beowulf, Beowulf just shows up absolutely, or not Beowulf. I keep saying Beowulf. Grendel shows up for absolutely no reason that you can discern. He just shows up and start ripping people to shreds and eating their flesh. No reason, just evil to be evil, I guess. Well, I eventually did discern that the reason he was so ticked off was because apparently the humans were just loud and obnoxious and he was annoyed. But and when that first happened, my thought was in my head was, okay, creatures don't just show up and start killing people for no good reason. What did the humans do to this thing? Did they kill its mate? Did they murder its children? Did they desecrate its habitat? What did the humans do? So what you're talking about there, from Grendel's point of view, right. Does he insert something like that, like the humans have done something?
Yes, it was. I don't remember the finer details, but it is, like I said, it's an exploration of the existential human condition and why am I like this? And I remember there's a point where he says, I'm just going to start killing them. The detail is escaping me. Is, oh, hello, kitty. Cats always welcome to show up.
He had
Who's your dad?
The baby kitty.
Oh, I see him.
And who is that?
That's Ninja.
Ninja.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I love animals.
Yeah. I like animals too, but I mostly love cats.
How many cats do you have?
I just have one.
Just one.
Yeah, I can't successfully give enough attention and love to more than one cat at a time. So I just have the one.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's really good.
He gets all my love and attention. So
is he okay being an only cat?
He is. In fact, he prefers to be an only cat. My son moved home for a little while, and he also has a cat. And there were fights in the house and scrapping over food and litter box and everything else. So, Ninja does not like any other cats in his territory.
Greg doesn't know this about me, but I had a girlfriend back in like Tempe, 13 years, and she was a cat lover. And we tried to introduce, she had Jada, the cat, who would.
We've got a whole bunch of comments that just popped up.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, wow. It's like 10 minutes of comments all in 1 second. If I have not been mentioned it, I'm sorry. It just popped up. So let me go through get some of these comments of it's Gary.
We'll save my cat story.
Barrett time. Yeah. First time. Yeah. Okay. Yes, he say his name, he will hear. All right. Sorry, everyone. Hello, MJ.
Hi, MJ.
What? 3 times.
Tube and the tarot, a new fashion.
Yeah, I have a tarot channel I haven't really paid attention to.
The poetic
the
one.
translation.
Prose
It's verse. It's in verse. It's by the translator was Michael Alexander. It's the Penguin edition.
Alexa, we should send a copy to Putin. Why am I a monster?
There you go.
No kidding,
I think that would just
Don't
escape.
get me started on Ukraine.
I don't think he gets too deep in that. Al, here I am wondering why I'm in the outs. Audiobooks and I Chang, not the thing.
Oh, the I Ching.
I Ching.
I Ching. Yeah. I'm very familiar with the I Ching.
Al, what's going on? What did I miss? Al, we're just talking and shooting the
just talking about random stuff. We were just talking about Beowulf.
Yep. Bad is Rad is here. Hello.
Hi, Bad.
Al, a little bit of tarot, a little bit of Beowulf.
Yeah.
Sweet. I love the I Ching, Al. Believe that. I know the I Ching a little bit. The Book of Changes. I used to throw joss sticks and that. Yeah, man.
Oh, that says hi, everyone. Okay, so sorry everyone about the comments just popped up. I'm not purposely ignoring anyone. It just sometimes these comments don't show up regularly. If I skip one, again, it's nothing personal. Sometimes I will not always put a comment if one person's commenting to another commenter. Like Bad said, hi, Brandy, but you're there, so we'll put that up. Okay. Okay, Alan.
For those keeping track at home.
Yes. So, Alan, you had a cat story about a girlfriend.
Yeah, I'll make it brief. My girlfriend had this cat named Jada. It was a black cat, and it was the best cat I've ever seen. She trained it to eliminate on the toilet. And she did that by putting the litter box on the toilet for a while. Then she put up some clear plastic wrap, on the toilet. The cat got used to jumping up there. The cat would shit in the toilet. Not only that, at 5:30 every day when she'd come home from work, the cat would jump up on the window and wait for her to come home. Like clockwork. The cat, we taught it to jump through a hoop, like from the bed to the chair and jump through a hoop. It was the most amazing cat I ever met in my life.
Wow. Well, I would argue that Ninja is the best cat that has ever been.
Well, the thing is, I could make the same argument for my cats.
You could indeed.
And here's what I figured out: the cat that takes you or you taken is going to be the best cat.
This is true. This is true.
Because my wife, we're joking, like when we adopted a cat last February, we were going in for one cat. Because we had 2 cats, one kind of old and not in good health, and he wanted to play, and she didn't want to do anything with that. So we're going to get our cat Teddy a friend. So we went out and we sat in the room with the cat. They had this little 3-legged cat. I sat him on my lap. He rolled over, looked at me. He scratched it and say, "Okay, I'll take this cat." My wife said, "Well, let's check this other cat out and take the one home that we love the most." Well, she found another cat, and how do you determine I'm going to love this cat more than that cat?
Right.
We took home 2 cats.
Well, you know what, Greg? Really, cats choose you. When you walk in there, the cat that tries to get your attention is the one you're naturally going to go to. So really, the cat chooses you.
And also, Greg, I've got a story about introducing cats. Like some cats don't like other cats. I've had like with Tammy, my girlfriend again. She tried to, not with Jada. This was another scenario, but boy, we had a cat one time who didn't like other cats at all.
Ninja doesn't like other cats either. He wants to be the only cat.
I mean, she would hide up in the cupboard. She would like hide and hiss real bad. That's what I don't like about cats. They're hissing.
No, they don't hiss all the time.
They don't hiss hardly ever.
Boy, we had one cat.
They come up for attention. Like my cat, little three-legged cat Chip. If I'm reading, he will come up to me and he will knock his head against whatever I'm reading, my Kindle or my book. Excuse me.
Yeah, do the head bump.
Do the head bump.
Greg,
Excuse me. I need some pets now.
Greg, don't you have one of your cats wakes you up in the morning?
Oh, yes. Our cat Bella, when she wants breakfast and I'm not getting out of bed fast enough.
Yeah, that's Ninja too. I'm on my side. He comes up and he puts his paw forward and he pokes me in the face. Poke.
Bella will attack my feet.
Oh, really?
She will go in and she will pounce on them with her claws out.
Oh, fun. Yeah, Ninja never does anything like that. He just gets up next to me and will poke me gently in the face. And then if that doesn't work, then he'll start getting in my face with his nose and he'll like push his nose on my nose until I wake up.
Yeah.
The funny story of Bad is still here. Hopefully she is.
She's here.
Her
Chihuahua. I'm going to catch up to some comments in just a minute.
Her Chihuahua keeps trying to lick her, like trying to French kiss her Chihuahua.
Al was talking about the hole in the coin represents the possible. Goes back to the word sanya. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. As with Jung, who said the modern man stands at the edge of the void. All right, let me try to get through all these so I don't miss anyone. Bad. I would love a hairless cat like Austin Powers in the movie. Okay, I mean, I just go to the shelter.
I can see Jessica with a hairless cat going,
Maybe so.
I can see Dad doing that.
He's got Oreo too. Grumpy Cat is the cutest I've seen.
Oh, Grumpy Cat. Yeah, they have a book out on Grumpy Cat. They were in Portland touring. Do you all know Grumpy Cat?
Yeah.
I've seen Grumpy Cat on the internet.
I think it's like a Himalayan or a Persian or something with a smushed up face.
It's got a face like me.
Now, empty, hollow void. He gives I think that's a Chinese character. Maybe. Hairless cats are great. No hairballs. Well, yeah, I've stepped in a couple of hairballs myself. So,
yeah, me too. I did hairballs.
You know, hairless cats are extremely high maintenance because they don't have fur, so it causes them to have some medical issues and stuff. So,
wow.
They're high maintenance.
Hairless cat was a Canadian cat, for warning. All right. They have pimples you must pop. So hairballs, pimples, tomato. I think that's something maybe Brandy was saying, that they have other health issues. True. No hairballs. Pimples on cat. Oh, no.
Yeah. And you have to rub special ointments on their skin and stuff, because without the hair, like the hair isn't just there for looks, like it serves a purpose. So like there's all kinds of maintenance involved with the hair. And plus they stink a lot. So it's a yeah.
I don't want no stinky hairless cat.
Yeah.
No stinky hairless cat for me.
Yeah.
Very ooh. Yeah, we're talking about pimples. Cats need that as you will. Gary adopted a feral cat from the woods nearby. Best cat ever.
Hey, Gary's my friend from Portland. Thanks for showing up, Gary.
Yeah, thanks. I think it's the first time. I don't remember the name, maybe. But you know, one of my cats, Teddy, was a stray. He came to our door.
Hey, Gary.
You know, and we invited him in. He was unneutered. We took him to the vet to have him check for one of those tags in the back. Wasn't owned. Couldn't find him. The shelter was full, and they said, "Well, we can neuter him in 2 months or something like that." I said, "Well, we'll just neuter him ourselves. It's not that expensive to neuter a cat." And then we're going to hold on to him until they had room in the shelter to get him adopted out. Didn't work out that well because we just kept him.
Yeah.
But he is one of the best cats ever.
Mm-hmm.
He just and he, like you said, he picked us.
Yeah. I got Ninja from the Humane Society. I decided after many years without having a pet that I finally was ready to have a pet again. So I went down to the Humane Society and I walked into the adult cat room, and Ninja immediately started rubbing back and forth on his cage. And I was like, well, I guess you're the guy. And I walked over there and I held my hand out, and he immediately, and so I was like, that's the cat. That's the cat.
Yep.
I took him home and we've been best buddies ever since.
As I said, when we adopted our two, it was just immediate. You just pick up the cat and you said, okay, this is the cat for me. And there was a third cat. The thing is, there was a third cat that was doing that banging me on the back of the head with the paw. I'm going, I got to get out of this shelter real quick.
Yeah, you'll go home with 1 million cats.
Well, the thing is, I've been very tempted to volunteer for the shelter.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is they're going to have a cat that's been in there for 6 months, a year that no one wants.
Right.
And you just go, okay, kitty, come home with me.
Yeah.
And really, 4 cats is enough cats.
Yeah.
It's enough to take care of.
Yeah.
Especially when you have one 3-legged one too, Greg.
He's no problem. I mean, really, just because he has 3 legs, he doesn't need anything special.
Oh yeah, I have a 3-legged cat. They don't need 4 legs. That's just a spare. They're fine.
You think, well, I can outwalk or run a 3-legged cat. No, you can't.
Yeah, it's practically no difference. You can't tell the difference between a 3-legged cat and a cat that has all 4 legs.
He gets around. Now, the vet says he's going to maybe develop joint issues in his old age.
Mm-hmm.
He's only 2, so we're not worried. Okay, bad. Remember that one scary short movies where the black cat goes in an elderly man in a wheelchair?
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember that one.
I think it was a Ray Bradbury movie or something, but this cat wouldn't die. And this old man had hired a hitman to come kill this cat.
Oh, man. This sounds like a good...
Everybody.
Is that a Stephen King short story?
Well, it might have been Stephen King. It was one of those, you know what I mean, where they had several short stories in a movie, and it was I thought it was Ray Bradbury, but it could have been a Stephen King one.
The Stephen King has, I think it's called The Cat from Hell or something.
Oh, no, The Cat's Eye, I think is what you're thinking of.
Yeah, The Cat's Eye is a Stephen King book.
Yeah, I think they made a movie out of that, too, where they had
I haven't read it,
short stories linked together, all that had to do with this cat. And the cat was on its way to this little girl to protect her from this little goblin thing. But on the way, he had little adventures, which were short stories,
I love Stephen King. I defend him every chance I get. I haven't read... I got to read the, 11/24/63. I haven't read that yet. I have to read that for Carrie.
Okay, so Al, we found our cat by Niagara Falls 3 years ago.
Wow, I love Niagara Falls.
Traumatized by the experience.
Niagara Falls is a spiritual place. I've been there several times. I love it. The Canadian side, you go through Buffalo, New York. Niagara Falls is, I love that place. They have a Houdini museum.
I've never been there.
Yeah. They have a Ripley's Believe It or Not museum. And then if you're ready and able to spend, extra $20, you can get a heart-shaped bed.
For a honeymoon, I guess?
Yeah. Niagara Falls is the honeymoon capital of the world.
Chiwi is a tongue kisser. Oh, that's one of her dogs that likes to...
Is it the Chihuahua?
Yeah, it's funny. Dad has a few videos where she's holding her Chewy and keeps trying to slip her the tongue.
Hilarious.
Are you ready for your reading?
Hold on.
ready.
Let's finish the comments real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, comments and then reading.
Michael K. Vaughn recommends the horror book Feral about cats. Actually, he doesn't recommend that book. I've actually read it. It's an okay book. The thing that really made me mad about that book is that the protagonists get a summer home out on Long Island back when like Long Island was like pretty much empty. And at the end of the summer says, well, just got to get rid of the cat now. So they just abandon it.
Oh my gosh.
And now the author was saying, okay, this is not what you're supposed to do. But the thing is, I could not. I said, okay, cats, kill these characters. You're okay to kill them.
Right.
Like I was rooting for the cats. And
I probably would too.
And it's like, if you're going to be that irresponsible with the pet, sure.
Yeah. I have a book about cats called Clouder. I haven't read it yet, but it sounds interesting.
Right.
Did you know a group of cats is called a Clouder? Because I did not know that until
I did not know that. No. I know he said he invited him in, but then took him to the vet. Well, you know, if a stray cat comes to your door, you just let him come in.
Let him in.
Yep.
Let him in.
Yeah.
The Cat Black Cat went to the
That was a
elderly
good
man.
movie.
That
was a fun movie.
It's not Stephen King movie of short stories. There was a gargoyle short story.
Yes.
Okay. That's
great.
That's the one where a guy meets a gargoyle in New York City, and he makes a deal with the gargoyle saying, I won't tell anyone about you.
Yeah.
Okay, we're talking, and then I won't reveal the twist.
Yeah. Oh, that was my favorite story. That one with the gargoyle. That was so good.
No, that was a pretty good. That was kind of an interesting twist.
Loved it.
Yeah, and if you want to talk about Stephen King's Pet Cemetery, that's one of my favorite novels.
Tales from the
by
Dark
him.
Side, 1990. That's it.
That
Came up.
Okay.
Oh, I think I missed one of her comments too. Not a king. No, there was a guy. That's the one. That's it. Oh, Chris, a huge cat and the Master of Margarita is the best.
I have not read that book.
Yeah, me
Master
neither, Brandy.
Margarita is.
I'm sure Greg did. Master Margarita. That's a
Soviet era novel that was not published because it was just too critical of the leading government at the time to be published. Okay, we are at the end of the comments, as far as I know.
All right, reading time.
Reading time.
Hold on, Meowen.
Okay, Brandy, and then I want to talk about pirates after this.
Pirates. Okay, that's another one of my favorite subjects, pirates.
Okay, well, I'm kind of reframing your question into again, I don't have to get 78 cards in order. I just have to get the first 3. So I'm thinking about your question, and I think that you're really asking if your business will flourish if with your degree in that. So or do you want to? Is that the question?
Pretty much, yeah.
Or what's your future with your current?
Yeah, is my current path going to be end successfully or end positively?
Okay. 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. That's it. Okay. First card is Knight of Wands.
Okay.
What was that noise?
My phone.
This is a cool. This is like a message coming to you, coming pretty fast. See the horse's eyes? It's coming fast.
Okay. So something.
Second card is another knight. coming even faster.
Okay. So things are happening fast.
Yes, very. See his eyes?
Uh-huh. Sorry
And
about my phone.
that's all right.
Mhm.
Then you just got like the best card in the deck, the Sun, one of them.
Mhm. And what
It's
does
a
that
beautiful
mean?
card. I'll have to think about it.
Okay.
Here comes the Sun.
Well, that can only be good, right?
I don't know. Let me show you. So we have 2 knights facing that way in your past. I don't know what that's about. Real fast, if you can get over these 2 knights, you have the Sun. Something about, yeah, something about these 2 knights, which are men. I don't know your business or anything, but something about these 2 knights are stopping you from moving forward into the Sun. And I mean, obviously, I think your degree will be. I mean, this is one of the best cards in the deck. Number 19, the Sun.
Well, we want that.
Yeah, and you got that. That's in your future.
Great.
So
Fabulous.
I don't know if it makes sense about these 2 knights stopping you. That's for you to think about.
All right. Well, great. Well, I'm just happy that I have the Sun in the future.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Hard work pay off.
Do what?
Makes all the hard work pay off.
Yeah.
Yeah, the knights are hardworking. That could be it too, Greg.
Me,
That's a good point.
I'm not hardworking.
Yeah, Greg's 7 deadly sin is sloth. His 7 deadly sin is sloth.
Absolutely.
You know what mine was?
Yours was gluttony.
Yeah, gluttony.
I almost sent you a link to a song. There's a song by the Alice Bag Band from the early 80s called Gluttony.
Yeah, I'm a foodie. I'm definitely a foodie.
Punk rock song.
So what were all the 7 deadly sins? I can't remember them all.
Oh, pride and
wrath, envy, sloth,
lust.
That would be Brandy's.
Actually, mine would have to probably be pride, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah? Like Brian?
Yeah. It would probably be pride.
Well, how so?
Well, when I was younger,
greed.
I would be.
I'm looking at the comments. MJ came up with greed as
who's got greed?
No, she didn't say. She just says pride, lust, envy, greed, wrath.
Oh, greed!
MJ knows them all.
Greed. She's just listening. She's not saying that she's engaged, or maybe she's engaging in those. I don't know.
I bet MJ went to Catholic school. I should be able to name them off.
Well,
I don't know how much the 7 deadly sins relate to modern society. Let's finish up some comments. Worth a read more than once, talking about the Master of the Margarita. I agree. I have read it 1.5 times.
Yeah, that's on my list. I will get to it eventually.
Is it a pirate book?
Oh,
it's a high seas book, right?
Pardon me, Alan? What?
Master and Margarita. It's a pirate book, or like a high seas book, or?
Oh no, we're going to get to pirates in just a minute. Bad. I like Brandy. She's cool, down to earth. I'll be sure
Thank
to
you,
subscribe
Beth.
to her
Appreciate
channel.
that.
Yeah, she's all right.
Bad. My tarot was that I needed to make a wish and rest, Brandy. Your tarot is very good. Chris?
Yeah, I think Bet had the Four of Swords.
Too much sun will burn. That was what I was thinking too. I was like, well, hopefully I'll get the sunlight and not the sunburn.
I actually got a mild sunburn on Saturday on my sun deck, just sitting and reading. It's like middle, it's a February. I should know, or it's March. I shouldn't be getting the sunburn.
Now you guys are just bragging. I'm stuck in the rain and snow out here.
It's not. Believe me, when you get to be summer out in Virginia, you're gonna be laughing at me.
Why is that?
It gets
You didn't
bloody
get
hot and
something
humid
similar?
here in Virginia.
Oh yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
have to
Portland
get some.
summers. I cannot wait to go out without wearing a coat. Oh, I cannot wait. This winter has really got me kind of down. I've been here 13 years, so you'd think I'd be used to it, but man, we got hit with snow a couple times, and I don't like it.
Yeah, MJ was going. Yeah, with a tag question. I remember it was another random question. I've done that one. And I just picked sloth. I just could not remember all of 7 deadly sins off the top of my head. Yes, private Catholic school. Laughing.
Yeah, I called that MJ.
Isam Ramadan. Hi.
Me too.
A new viewer, I think. Hello. We miss Sonia. Hello, Sonia.
Hey, Sonia. Yeah, thanks, Sonia.
And MJ saying hi to Sonia. Isam, I'm reading Demons by Dostoevsky. That is the one Dostoevsky I have not read yet. But I want to get to it someday.
That might be a good future buddy read, Greg.
Have you read that one?
I've read half of it and then I never went back to it, so I would have to start over.
Yeah, it's a good possibility. It was on my list to read last year, but then some other BookTube event came in and bumped it off my list.
Yeah, that was me. I got distracted by something else. I don't remember what it was now, but I was halfway through and I was like, I'll get back to this just in a couple of days, and then I didn't go back to it.
Yeah. Well, thinking about Dostoevsky is that I found when it was rereading Brothers Karamazov earlier, was it last year or this year? You really you can only be reading Dostoevsky. You can't be switching back and forth. He's just
Yeah.
Too much going on that you have to pay attention to.
Yeah.
Master and the Margarita, Devil, Elia Visit, and Mayhem. Yeah. There's also the Pontius Pilate subplot in that one.
Well, I guess I'll have to put that on my TBR. I've not read that. Master and Margarita.
Yeah. But, it's only March, and I feel like my year of reading's already full of stuff.
Yeah.
I have to read or want to read.
I don't know. My summer is kind of clear. I've got June on the range, and we have Faulkner in August.
Yeah, Faulkner in August.
I have to announce that self-promotion.
Well,
our 5th annual.
I'm doing no reading events except for 3. I'm only doing 3. Like I already went into this year, like I'm not doing events. I'm going to do Autumn of More, Book Trek, and New Worlds November, and that's it. And I'm not doing anything else.
Well, you got to do Faulkner in August.
Nope, not doing it.
No. Okay.
August is Book Trek. August is Book Trek. There's no way I'm putting down Book Trek for anything.
Brandy may not be the Faulkner kind of reader. So
I've not tried Faulkner, so I don't know.
Bad. I remember my parents taking my sister and I always to the lake. It was embarrassing going for the first day of school, very tan and peeling skin from sunburn, but it was fun. It's Waiting for Godot, Samuel Beckett.
What?
Guess what I read yesterday?
I love that play. And Samuel Beckett pronounced it Waiting for Godot.
Guess what I read
Godot.
yesterday? I read Waiting for Godot yesterday. I picked it up.
You did?
I was looking at what? Oh, no, it's my third or fourth reading of the play. It's
Correct.
It is. How do I put? I remember I used to work with a guy when I was working at Borders Books back in the 90s, and we were in the back room ordering books. And he was from Brooklyn, so he had a very thick Brooklyn accent. And I'm going to try to imitate it. Not too good, but he was an actor. He used to do stage acting in New York City. He goes, Waiting for Godot. Greatest fucking play ever written. I fucking hate it.
Steve Martin and Robin Williams have this. I don't know if it's available on YouTube, but Steve Martin and Robin Williams played, I forget the characters' names, but you know, there's only like 2-3 characters in Waiting for Godot. But yeah, watch that.
It is.
Note to self.
What I want to do now is find a YouTube production to watch it. Because it's the edition I have had Edward Albee saying, he just did how really massively that one play changed the scope of playwriting in the 20th century. He really he redefined what it meant to write a play in the 20th century with that play.
And in grad school at Arizona State University, I went through a seminar for Sammy Beckett. So we went deep dive into it. We read all the novels, well, the 3, you know, Molly, Malloy, whatever. And then we went into his films. And he's got a lot of bizarre films, like just like geometrical people walking around. Or have you ever seen Happy Days? It's a mouth. It's a female lipstick mouth.
Buried.
Yeah.
Now, as I remember, she starts the play up to her waist. And then the second act, she's up to her neck.
Yeah. And then it's a mouth.
Wow.
Yeah, and Krapp's Last Tape is a classic. You know, talk about me recording stuff and talk about YouTube and BookTube. Krapp's Last Tape is the shite.
I have to. I've read that, but that was like 15 years ago. So you know, got to forgive the memory. Yeah, MJ. August is trash, people. It is Garb August. It's Faulkner in August and Garb August. So I got.
Yes, those are the 2 I'll be participating in.
Well, it's book trek in August is book trek for me.
I have never read a Star Trek book. Believe it or not.
Well, I love Star Trek. I'm a huge Star Trek fan. So.
Yeah, I like it too. Well, maybe I'll participate in that too. I've never read a Star Trek book.
Oh my gosh, they're fun. I love it. There are a lot of stinkers, though. I'll tell you that.
So Sonia just started reading A Little Life this morning. I have that on my Kindle. Everyone says it's a really depressing book or something.
Yeah, I've heard that too. That it's really sad.
Yeah, really sad. It's what a coincidence. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I think a lot of people read Samuel Beckett, to be truth. But
my favorite Samuel Beckett play is Endgame.
Endgame.
Yeah, it's 2 people in pots, and they're talking back and forth. They're in like pots. Their heads pop up. An end game is like in chess, you know, end game when you're finally trying to get the king, playing your end game. But that's my favorite Beckett play, end game.
Yep, bad. I've been buying a lot of trash books, but not for Garb, for your own collection. Well, you know, you're allowed to read trash books all year long if that's what you want to read.
She should. She needs to come to Portland. You know, keep Austin weird, but come to Powell's and go through the stacks like Greg did. Let me show you something.
Chris is taking a deep dive into Macbeth. Macbeth is my favorite Shakespeare play.
I haven't done Shakespeare in a long time.
Well, there's
I love Macbeth.
ShakeTube coming up in September.
Yes, sir.
No,
Yes, sir.
September is Autumn of Amore.
Autumn of Amore. Oh, as MJ says, Sonia, what a ride that book is. Stay with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's I just read classics. Anyone else?
Yes, I just got done reading Beowulf.
That counts for 2.
That is Hermann Hesse considered a classic now?
Yeah, hell yeah.
I'm reading Narcissus, at least on audio, Narcissus and Goldman.
Wow, I've never read that.
I've
read Steppenwolf and Siddhartha and Damien by Hesse. I like him.
He's a fascinating. I mean, he doesn't seem to be getting as much attention as he used to. Mostly because I think at the time he was writing this, he was really ahead of his time because he's talking about young men exploring sexual feelings at a time when young men were not supposed to admit that they had those feelings, you know? Mm. So bad. I'm going to send you more trash books for Garbaugist. Alan, you join the Garbag. I'll send some for you too. Bad. Thank you. I know I owe you a package that's going out tomorrow. I wanted to include more books than I could find, but my bookstores out here are not the best. But you will be getting a package going out tomorrow.
Here's my bad box. It's all ready to go. Got a lot of stuff. I've got a correct address. I won't show that. But here's my bad box ready to go.
Yeah, Al's going to love Beckett, especially Theater of the Absurd. There are a couple good renditions of Godot on YouTube. That's good because I as I said, I want to find something to watch because I just read it and I just feel that I should see a version.
Yeah, if we can find that Steve Martin and Robin Williams version of Godot.
Steve Martin?
Sure. Steve Martin and Robin Williams.
That would be an interesting version.
MJ's talking about how she just got done reading Breakfast at Tiffany's. I actually really love Truman Capote. He's one of my favorites, and I have not read all of his books. And a few months ago, I got onto Book Depository and I ordered all of the Truman Capote penguins they had. So wow. I'm going to go through those next year. I'm going to go through all the Truman Capote next year. I've only read like 2 or 3 of his novels, so and he's got quite a few. So
yes, I've only read In Cold Blood.
Oh, it's fabulous! That's of the 3 I read, that's the best one.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's about time that I read In Cold Blood again because that was just such a great book.
Yeah.
MJ, I still say Faulkner Fridays, Alan. Oh, okay. That's a good idea, MJ. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
We're thinking about, I thought about, I reread a bunch of Faulkner short stories in January. And he has some good ones. Sean is mentioning that August of Adventures. I might be able to squeeze in one adventure novel, maybe.
See, that's the other one I would do if I were not doing Book Trek and nothing but Book Trek for August. That's the other one I would do is August of Adventure.
Now, here's a question. Can I read a garbage Nick Carter spy adventure book from the 60s and count that as August of Adventures? Or is that not going to work?
Well, if you can count that, then I can count my Star Trek books for August of Adventure.
Certainly.
Bad. My dad loves Star Trek, Brandy. He had us go to Vegas for the Borg.
Nice.
I got this tattoo in Vegas.
That's a
I
thank
love Vegas.
appreciate anything.
I love Vegas.
I love the peanut butter bad box. It's my favorite writer is Flaubert. I've read Madame Bovary. That was a
Oh yeah, I love
long,
Madame Bovary.
long time ago.
Yeah.
I know Mark Booktime and Elvis is doing a read of Madame Bovary sometime this year.
Oh, is he?
He is. I hope I have time to join in on that one because I'd love to reread that.
I'm
Oh, what's
totally
your
ignorant
favorite?
about it.
Chris, that
Flaubert.
sounds like Seamus Haney. No, I think Brandy had a different translation.
It's a. I've already forgotten it. I've already said it twice, and I keep forgetting. Michael Alexander is the translator on the Penguin edition I have. I do want to read the Seamus Haney one though.
Hold on,
Yeah, me too, kind
I'm
of.
trying to catch up with their comments again. Al, I agree. Like Joyce, it is meant to be live. Beckett. I love that, Brandy.
What's she referring to?
Probably your hair.
No, probably.
Your hair's getting so long, Brandy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm worried that I may be missing comments again. Bad, fantastic, Brandy. I will check out those books like Breakfast at Tiffany's.
She must be talking about the Truman Capote. Yeah, I love Truman Capote.
Yeah, she probably is. Like I said, I'm gonna.
I love that movie.
I will
love
have to
Breakfast
do
at
a
Tiffany's.
reread of In Cold Blood, and then maybe someone make a suggestion of another Truman Capote book I should pick up just to round it out. Al, the top results for Godot on YouTube USA are great. They include Sir Patrick Stewart. Ooh.
Stewart.
Did he play Vladimir or Estragon? I don't know.
Well, it doesn't matter because he's going to be good in it. It's Patrick
He's
Stewart.
going to be good, yeah.
You know?
MJ, trash equals adventure. Chris, Capote rocks the best. In Cold Blood is the first nonfiction novel. Yeah, I believe that is true.
It was the first based on a true story novel. Yeah.
Well, most people count In Cold Blood as nonfiction and not a novel.
Well, it is fiction, but it's fiction based on a true story.
Now,
Right.
what I remember reading about Capote, he'd written almost the whole thing, but whoever the main character was hadn't been executed yet. And
Yeah,
I can't finish my book until he dies.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how it ends.
A lot of time with the killers.
Yeah,
he did change. He did change some of it, though. He did change some of the stuff in the book. So just a small amount of it, he changed for his own purposes. Like what the guy said at the end. The guy at the end apologized for killing the people. He didn't do that. He didn't apologize in real life.
I don't think he would, but I don't even remember that scene. It's been so long. Chris, totally agree. Bad. I absolutely love that there's no judgment in trash books. BookTube is very supportive. Brandy, Star Trek is great for everyone. I say yes. I know that that's one thing Criminal did is with Garba. He sort of took the shame of reading trash books off. Say it's okay to read this really trashy stuff.
I've never had any shame, so you know.
You know what? When I think about Capote's,
Bye, Sean.
Bye, Sean.
oh, later, Sean.
Mysteries of Paris.
Underground.
When I think about Capote's novel, I think about Norman Mailer's novel about Gary Gilmore at the same time.
Yes,
you know, I think
it's very similar.
Yeah, they came out.
No, they came. No. The In Cold Blood was the 50s or 60s, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And
Norman Mailer's
song was the 80s, about 20 years at least.
Yeah, In Cold Blood, though, even that film with Beretta,
Robert Blake.
Yeah, that film is horrendous.
Oh, if someone says education, the sentimental education, recommend by Flaubert.
Hmm.
Greg, what is those books that has the weird kid face called Mad? Are they worth it? And what are they? Son of Mad by William. Okay. Mad Magazine was a magazine. I think it's still around. It's been around for the 50s. I bought one that I read earlier this year from the 50s. It's kind of funny. They actually had a joke about Disney World and all about making money. And they have a picture of Walt Disney because he was alive in a vault just counting all his cash. And then it had another one at the end about not falling for advertising. They had like advertising a fake about buying homes. They don't fall for all these home advertisings because you're not going to get what you expect. Like, that was pretty good advice to be giving kids back then.
Yeah.
But I like the houses cost like $2,000.
Thank you for bringing up Mad Magazine, Greg.
Yeah.
I love Mad Magazine.
I would definitely buy one of them.
Well, Mad's getting a Mad Magazine in her box because Mad rhymes with bad and it's rad.
It is. No, I would definitely recommend buying at least one and reading it. I don't know if you need to buy a whole lot and read that many more.
Yeah, I'm trying to get Terminelli into a Mad Magazine again too. I wish they still had the magazine. They don't. But when you buy like the books, they give you a little thing. Remember back in the day, you buy Mad Magazine and they have a subscribe little like postcard. Yeah, they don't have Mad Magazine anymore.
It's The Seagull by Chekhov. I have read a couple of Chekhov's plays, not for a while. He's a very good, solid playwright, but as I said,
I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I was a theater major back in Kent State back in the 80s. I was a theater major, so I read plays, I wrote scripts, and I acted, I painted scenery, theater. So Chekhov, the Sisters, the Cherry Orchard. He's not only a playwright, he's a short story writer. We should do a deep dive into Chekhov, you guys.
I don't know that I've read any Chekhov.
He's the shite. Chekhov's the shite.
Robert Howard and Conan were my trash books growing up. Okay,
that's cool, Al.
I could totally use it on.
Yeah, I love Sword and Sorcery.
Crybaby Films just got here. I'm late. Hi.
Hello.
And Sonia, I want to read In Cold Blood. Yes,
definitely.
Definite read. I might do that for Nonfiction November. If I still do that. Beth says, thank you very much, Alan. Capote wrote superlative short stories. House of Flowers will not disappoint, but also try. The Muses are heard. The account of his journey into Russia with the cast of Porgy and Bess in the 50s. Okay, and Belle Amie Messapon. Okay, we are at an hour and 10 minutes. Do you want to continue on for a little while and then cut it short? Or
yes, I want to continue. Do you want to, Brandy?
Yeah, sure.
Because we haven't talked about pirates.
We haven't talked about
pirates. Yeah.
We got to talk about. Okay, let's talk about the.
All right, we'll talk about the pirates.
Pirates.
Okay, I've read some like Wilbur Smith pirate books. Yeah, really enjoyed them.
Well, how many of them did you read?
Not many. I think one. I can't really remember them. I've read a few other Wilbur Smith, like Egyptian ones. And do you like him a lot?
Um, I don't know. This is my big problem is my memory. I hardly ever remember what I've read until I'm either looking at it or I'm starting to read it again, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I read that. So you would have to tell me what it's about to trigger my memory.
Oh, I can't remember. Just Robert Smith pirate novel.
Well, you're as bad as I am then.
Yeah, I am.
Well, I love pirates, but I've read at this point more nonfiction about pirates than fiction.
Wow, like Blackbeard, Bluebeard.
Well, yeah, Captain Kidd and
Yeah, Captain Kidd down in Florida.
I read a few nonfiction pirate books a number of years. I'm drawing a blank on the name.
Well, Bluebeard and Blackbeard, they're out. You're going on a
one of the main
Bermuda cruise
they
too.
were trying to track down for a number of years. And
do what, Greg?
I'm trying to remember the book on a pirate that I'd read like 5-6 years ago.
And it was a pirate they were hunting down?
Yeah, well, an old pirate, from the 1600 or whatever.
Yeah, they were hunting down all of the pirates, really. At one point, they just decided they were going to get rid of the pirates and went after them full on.
Wow.
So that could be any of them, really.
Yeah, so
they were really after that Captain Kidd for a while, and they were really after Bartholomew Roberts for a while, too. And, of course, they all ended up dying,
Mm-hmm.
At the end of a road.
We do. But Greg's going on a Caribbean cruise in like a month. So you might want to brush up on your pirate story.
Maybe. I've been thinking about reading the sea story on the boat, but haven't decided
that'd be cool.
yet.
Well, you know what would be fun to read on a boat is a nonfiction called Pirate Hunters. Pirate Hunters. It's called Pirate Hunters.
I think that's one of the ones that I read.
By Robert Curson. It was really good. It was about a pirate I never even heard of. And they were looking for his ship. And it's a Golden Age pirate ship, which is really rare to find a Golden Age pirate ship. I think only 3 have ever been found. But they were looking for this one called the Golden Fleece. And they did end up finding it. But along in the book, they tell you all about this pirate. And he was a fascinating pirate. Absolutely one of the most interesting pirates I've ever read about. And I'd never even heard of him before. So that was a good one. So you get a lot of different sides. You get the pirate story, the story about the pirate. You get this hunt for the remains of his ship, which it sunk in like only a few feet of water. It was in a really shallow little bay area where they found it. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Pronounce
Maupassant. Thank you. I mean, I don't know how to pronounce French.
So. Yeah, I don't speak French either. I would totally butcher it.
Defoe.
Greg should know French.
My father was French, and French was his first language. But
yeah, I wish I knew Spanish.
As I said, he taught me one word in French,
and it was a swear word.
It was a swear word. Defoe, Robinson Crusoe. I think that's the only thing that I've read by Defoe.
He wrote a nonfiction about pirates too, called The General History of the Pirates, or they attribute it to him. It's actually not known for sure that he wrote it.
Yeah, and
I find it very interesting.
There's a book I saw in Barnes and Noble that had Defoe in hardcover. They had the original spelling version.
Yeah, mine has the original spelling version too.
It's kind of fun to look at, and it's really rather easy to read. But it's just like, wow, kind of fun to read that old time English. Now, Philo Grand said, "We all read X, right?" Age asks, "Do you remember reading X?" Yeah, we can't remember everything, especially when I read what I do. Oh, hello, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark. Yeah, I'm getting old now. I can't remember things anymore.
So Bat says, Greg, Jack on the cruise ship. I'm king of the world. On him.
Yeah, that old doorsteppy or that Dory's hanging on, old Jack. That's the question. Was there room enough on that plank for Jack and the girl for Jack to have survived? I don't know.
It's a movie. Movies do not relate to reality at all.
They don't?
Oh, Isam, I speak Spanish, Arabic, and English.
Wow, good for you.
Good for
I
you.
speak English.
Yeah, I've been trying to teach myself Spanish and just doesn't stick.
Well, I don't even try another language. I can barely speak English.
Chris,
I'd love to learn Italian. Like Tommaso, my friend Tom at LA Books, he's doing the Divine Comedy again, but in Italian. So sometimes you got the closed caption, but I just go to it to listen to the language. So, yeah, I've tried Duo and all that. I lived in Phoenix, Arizona area for 25 years. You think I would have picked up Spanish?
You know the best way to pick up Spanish?
Get a
Have
Spanish
girlfriend.
Jinx.
Then you'll pick up Spanish.
Hell yeah.
I've never heard of this book that Chris is talking about here.
Highlands in Jamaica. I have heard of it before. I have never read it. Maybe that's a possibility to read on my cruise. It's a Mole Flanders by Defoe. I've heard of that book before. I have never read it.
I've never read it either.
Peter the Book Lover. Hello. I remember when you had some videos going around.
Hey, Peter.
Some Dante Commedia is on my list. I've read The Inferno at least twice, but I've never gone past to the the Purgatorio and the Paradocio.
Yeah, when I was in my early 20s, I read it, but apparently it was an abridged version, or maybe it was only one of the books, I don't know. But I didn't realize there was more to it. And so now I did buy the book a few years ago. I have it on my shelf here, but I haven't read it yet. I'll get to it one of these days.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I have read it several times, and it's the shite. I go back to Dante more than I go back to like Plato or Socrates or Aristotle. I go back to Dante.
Oh,
And yeah, I've read that a few times. And, Tom at LA Books, he's my friend, so I call him Tommaso. I visited him a year ago in Hollywood. And unfortunately, my tax, you know how much I'm getting back in tax this year? $128. So I'm not going to be able to make my Venice Beach vacation. I work in the summer, so hopefully I'll be able to go this summer. But shout out to Tommaso.
I want a tax return. I haven't had a tax return forever.
Peter the Book Lover says hello. He also asked, can you read Arabic? This sounds pretentious, but it was growing up near a used bookstore. I preferred Purgatorio. Now, here's the one thing I have sort of an issue, especially like some of these older works. Now, I tried to read Paradise Lost last month, and I got to about 5 of the chapters and gave up because there were so many biblical references and so many allusions to the current government in England that I found myself not understanding really what was going on because I can't understand all the biblical references or the government references, and to actually understand it, I would have to read and then study, saying, okay, what does this figure mean? Who does that represent in the current English government at that time? And I said, it's just not relevant to me anymore.
Well, if you actually did want to read something like that, I mean, you can always just do a Google search. That's what I do. If I don't know what something is referring to, then I just type in the piece that I'm looking for, and then also the title of the book that I'm reading, and it'll usually pop up right away and tell me what that is.
It is, but I didn't want to read it with a study guide. I just wanted.
You just wanted to read, and you didn't want to have to mess with it. I got you.
Yeah, at some point, it's like I don't want to study the book like I'm in a university class.
Right. Well, I totally get that.
Oh, A Happy Death by Albert Camus. That's the one of his books that I have not read. That's his unpublished first novel. I don't know, but someday, yeah, I will get to that. Peter the Book Lover, I'm reading Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Yeah,
Oh, fun.
I've read that a couple times. It's one of America's great books. And here he comes.
Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer.
I'm looking for my copy of Paradise Lost. I can't seem to find it. But Greg, we'll revisit. Greg, we'll revisit that next year.
Same with me,
Paradise Lost is the shite. Of course, it has everything about England and the politics and that and the biblical things, but it's the shite. It's worth revisiting, and you should read it. So I'm going to hold you to that.
Mark, yeah, I'd like a tax return instead. I have to pay extra. Hooray.
I can't believe I can't find my copy of Paradise Lost.
I've read some of Ezra Pound's poetry. I have his cantos.
Yes.
And I've read some of his and again, you read the cantos and you're thinking, I really need extra material to read this.
Of course. It's Ezra Pound.
Chris, Huck Finn is the greatest. I love that book. Yeah, it's such a interesting. Okay, Al goes, Milton, you need to read Northrop Frye first, like Nietzsche. And source material like Blake, I should say.
Well, yeah, my copy of Paradise Lost is a Barnes & Noble copy, and it has the engravings of William Blake in it, all the illustrations and that. Great endnotes. I've read it 3 times. We had a group read with Braz and Stephanie Cohen and a bunch of people like 2 years ago. So, yeah, we'll have to revisit Milton, Greg.
Oh, maybe
Did you know that Milton was blind?
Yeah, he went blind while composing Paradise Lost, and he had to tell it to his daughter, Deborah. Yeah,
and the original printing of it, apparently the printings were really bad, and there was all kinds of like printing mistakes in the original printing of that.
Yes, correct.
No, the funniest story is like when I started it, I was watching some college lectures that people who first got the book thought there was a mistake because none of the lines rhymed.
It's blank verse.
It's blank verse, and they go, "Wait a second, this is like what's wrong here?" Because he says, "I am freeing verse from the tyranny of rhyme."
Yeah, Milton.
That was Milton.
Yeah, he was a champion against or for divorce. You know, like Ireland just granted divorce back in the 90s. We're talking Milton in 1600s. You know, talking for divorce, talking against the church. He's lucky he didn't get burned at the stake. You know.
Yeah.
Al says, myth transcends time and culture. Everything is allegory. Peter the Book Lover, I read The Invisible Man before that. I was surprised how good it is. Now, wait a second. Are you talking about H.G. Wells, The Invisible Man, or Ralph Ellison's Invisible Man? Both are very good books for very different reasons.
Yeah, I've read the H.G. Wells.
You know, Ralph Ellison's Invisible Man is really a remarkable novel.
Haven't read that one.
It's also incredibly funny in parts. I mean, how do I put it? I can tell you the first chapter and not spoil anything. But there is a scene where the main character and this bank, a college president, come across a very poor family, and the father has impregnated his daughter, and the father is giving this recantation of why that just happened, and it's tragic, but it's also gut-bustingly funny at the same time, even though you really aren't supposed to be laughing at what really happened, but the way the guy's telling the story.
What about the paint scene?
What?
The guy where he's working at a paint company.
Oh, paint company. Oh, yeah.
He's got to add a drop of like black paint to the white paint. Yeah, this was
it's a great book.
This is a buddy read I did like 3 years ago with Hannah, who we're going to have to, we'd like to get her on the show, but Hannah's a friend of mine. Hannah Joyner, Hannah's books. Yeah, we buddy read that. She walked me through this.
So it's again, A Tale of Love and Darkness by Amos Oz. I have it on my Kindle for someday.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of books on my Kindle for someday. Northrop Frye and Joseph Campbell both said separately that when you learn the source of our myth and meaning, you can read it in any material. Frankenstein's monster read Paradise Lost. I remember him talking about, yes, I do remember that.
I just got that Voxer message. It flashed across my screen, FYI.
Which one?
Nothing. That was for somebody who sent me a Voxer message and is also watching the live and being a smarty pants.
Okay. Peter the Book Lover, H.G. Wells. Okay. It's still a very good book. I don't know if I put it as top of H.G. Wells novels, but still pretty good. Al, y'all give me endless title that I need to look up. Unreal. Not sure if that's good or bad. That's the problem with BookTube, is that you get too many recommendations that are good, too many events that you want to join, and you can't do them all.
Yeah, my book buying tripled after I got on BookTube. Tripled. I was buying 3 times as many books after BookTube than I was before.
That's why I'm on this book buying challenge, because it's just buying too much. Because the way I do it is I hear someone recommend a book on BookTube and I put it on my Amazon, private wish list. And then every day I look at my wish list and say, which one of those has dropped $1.99?
Oh, yeah.
And then just buy. And you get maybe 10 books a month like that.
Yeah.
But after a number of years, you're going like, kind of a huge backlog.
Yeah. I went on an audiobook rampage. I never did audiobooks hardly at all. Like I always have one going, but it takes me like 4 months to get through them because I just don't enjoy audiobooks that much. But at my new job, I can listen to audiobooks for about 4 hours during my shift. But I can't read because I have to do stuff. And so I was like, well, I'm just going to fire up audiobooks. So now I've been like burning through audiobooks. I'm going through like 2 or 3 audiobooks a week. And so I went on a buying rampage for audiobooks. So yeah, I've got 56 now and I'm just like, okay, time to stop buying audiobooks. Well,
Brandy, do you use Audible or you use another service?
No, I don't subscribe to Audible. What I do is if you buy the Kindle book of something, you can get most of the time, not always, but most of the time, you can get the audio book for like $7.49 or less.
Yes.
And so it's cheaper to just get the Kindle version and the audio version together. And then I can even switch back and forth between the Kindle and the audio. So that's how I've been doing it.
I do that.
Brandy and I are big audio. Yeah, Greg and I are big audio. Well, we subscribe to Audible, but then I like to promote the Libby app, Libby,
I have that
from
too.
your local library. If I can't get it from Libby, I go to Audible. But Greg and I are big audio readers and print readers.
Yeah.
I like to say I need all the help I can get when I'm reading a book like The Recognitions. You know,
I'm listening to it with my Kindle open. I'm following along, and especially with a work like Gaddis, who's very complicated, it actually helps your brain focus on getting through the book and not letting it drift off. Because Gaddis can get
I read it like 1.6 audio, so it helps me read faster. And
well, I'll tell you what, I had to focus on Beowulf also, but it wasn't anywhere nearly as wordy as that book that you guys are reading. That is the wordiest book I've ever seen in my life. I cannot believe. I mean, you've got one sentence that's a paragraph long. I'm like, doesn't this guy know how to use periods?
You read that?
Jesus.
Have you tried Gaddis?
I did not try it. Sean sent me like 3 pages
No.
of that book, and I was just like, no.
He has his rewards if you are patient with him.
I guess that seems a little.
He's not going to be for everyone.
He was just being verbose for the sake of being verbose. I was rolling my eyes and I was like, I'm not reading this book.
So bad.
Well,
all very good books. Doing.
I had a small. We can talk about Sean because he's not here anymore.
No,
so,
let's not talk about other people.
No, I won't. I have a small contention about Sean. I'm going to resubscribe to him, but he did not like The Recognitions. And
are you holding that
Greg and I really like it. So I don't want to hear all this pontification about how the writing sucks and bad writing.
I didn't think the writing sucked at all. Actually, I thought it was nice writing, but I just can't get on board with sentences that are a paragraph long. By the time I got to the end of a sentence, I forgot what the sentence was about.
What's that book, Greg? Zone? You have Zone.
I have Zone. It's the whole book is one sentence.
Oh my gosh.
Now here's if you want to try that, there is a book by, I believe her name is Victoria Price. And the book is called Dies, DIES, a sentence. And again, it's all one sentence. Now, the commenter says she uses what the accuses the author of the poetic comma. So if you were to try to diagram this as a real sentence, no, it's not a real sentence. But it does not have periods. It's just all one continuous flow. And that's probably a pretty good choice for people who want to try something like that. Because it's
who used to have the longest?
What? It's only about 100.
Who used to have the longest sentence in a novel? Who used to?
Faulkner. And I think they said that's the longest real sentence that if you were to diagram it out, comes out to be a real sentence.
Mm-hmm.
What's that from?
I believe it's Absalom, if I'm not mistaken. Al, audiobooks have been my secret weapon for decades. Oh yeah, I've been reading since the 90s. Really
Greg's got a big back library on that.
Well, for the number of first decades, it's all library books because they didn't have iPods or downloads. So you went to the library and got cassette tapes.
Right. If you were really my friend, Greg, you'd share your Audible password with me.
No, you got to work a little harder for that one, but no. Alex, like The Outsider, Colin Wilson. Yeah, that's an that's I have not read it, but interesting book of criticism.
Stephen King wrote a book called The Outsider also.
It's also another English translation for Albert Camus' first book.
Interesting.
Yep.
He also wrote a book called On Writing.
Peter says a lot of audiobooks on YouTube. Chris Faust,
Yeah,
The Myth of Our Time.
That's true, Peter. But sometimes Audible, you have to go there. They don't have. If I can't get it from Libby, then I have to go to Audible. And then Audible, the great courses. I mean, I've done that on Dante, on Ulysses. I've done great courses on. I just love Audible for.
I love Audible. Now I'm going to try to get through our. Oh, hello, Ninja.
Yeah,
I'm going to try to get through our comments. We've been on this almost an hour,
It's
40
a beautiful
minutes.
cat,
So
Brandy.
we do want to start cutting down our times. So let's get through the comments. David is going to announce who won the Texas Chainsaw Massacre today. I see. The thing is, I thought you both did very good works of art, and I hesitate to say this one person did a better job than the other because you're both creating works of art, and they're both very good for what you were trying to do. Al, I began focusing on words and then see the words on a whiteboard, builds focus and retention. Middlemarch is like that. Oh, Middlemarch is, yeah. I read that last October.
Oh, I want to read Middlemarch. I have been wanting to read that for like 3 years, and I keep not getting to it. But that's higher up on my TBR.
You know, there are people who say it's the greatest novel of the English language, especially the 19th century. Mm-hmm. Now, I read it and I liked it. I don't rank it that high. It will appeal to some people more than others. It's very character-driven.
I will like that. I like character-driven stories.
Then you like it. So I thought Sisyphus was the myth of our times. It was real popular a while back. Pontificate is a great example of biblical and religious allegory in our language. I say that Niets Zera or Young's Liber Novas or even Finnegan's Wake. Maybe he's referring back to the myths of our time.
He's referring to Zera and Carl Jung. Yeah, Carl Jung and Finnegan's Wake. Yeah, I mean, please, I can talk about Finnegan's Wake all day.
Yep. Al beat me to it. Stranger is a better translation, to be honest. Okay. The Death of Ivan Ilyich. That is Leo Tolstoy. That is a very good short novel.
Yeah.
There's a French Albert Camus title. Oh, Alan, we got to answer this one before we call it a day. Peter the Book Lover. What is a good start on Faulkner novels? I have some.
Light in August. It's very readable. You'll have a cathartic experience with Joe Christmas. My old videos on Light in August have gotten like thousands of hits. You know, Light in August.
See, I would have gone possibly As I Lay Dying.
Yeah, that too. That's a smaller book.
It's a smaller book. It might be a little more experimental than Light in August.
Yes.
My Mother is a Fish chapter.
Yeah. That's a funny in quotation marks until, what's the female character who gets, Yeah, I would recommend Light in August or As I Lay Dying for the first one.
I think I have to reread those because it's been like the 90s since I've read any of those, but either one of those is good. Franny and Zoe by Salinger. I have
Oh
only
my
read.
God! Thank you.
I have only read Raise High the Roof Beam Carpenter by Salinger.
Woo!
See,
I'm
that's
a
the only
big
one of his
Salinger.
that I've read is The Catcher in the Rye, and I hated Catcher in the Rye.
Bull! I used to read that every like 2 years. I love that
Oh my
book.
Lord, I was irritated by the time I got to the end of it. I was like, Holden needs a spanking.
Luis?
Yeah, him and
Louise?
Phoebe.
Finnegan's Wake, Absalom, Absalom, the best books to start learning English. Hi from Spain. I don't know if those are both complicated books.
Yeah, you don't want to start there at all.
No.
Finnegan's Wake's in 15 different languages as it is.
Well, Bad will be
Bad.
coming on to a live here soon, won't she? So I'll get to see her too.
Yeah, Bad. I'm trying to get through the comments so we can call it a day because we've been at it an hour and 40 minutes.
Okay, we better zip our lips, Alan.
Thank you all for another fun show. Brandy, it was nice to meet you.
Yeah, another great show.
All right. Alan, which is better, Finnegan's Wake or Ulysses?
Unanswerable.
Unanswerable. Two totally different books. Teresa Raquin by Emile Zola. I read that in the 90s.
I have a compilation of books by Emile Zola, but I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, the Germinal or something like that is the most famous one. Franny and Zoe's by J.D. Salinger, but I haven't read it yet.
Buddy Glass. Buddy Glass. I can talk about Salinger all day long. Buddy Glass smoking a cigar on the bathtub. Franny and Zoe. Yeah, I love that book.
So Peter asks, is
Buddy
Intruder
Glass.
in the Dark one of his good ones? But I've never read that Faulkner book. Intruder in the Dark?
No, I haven't read that either, Peter.
It's one of his minor books. And Bad says, I'm very nervous. You know something, Bad? You're just talking. It's like you're chatting in a bar talking and
Pub.
No worry, pub, no worries. No worries at all.
No worries, Bad.
Just meet Greg and Alan in the live like 30 minutes before, and then you guys can talk and get comfortably before you come on the live.
We can do that.
And
great, it's The Lost Illusions by Balzac. That's supposed to be his best book. It's actually like three of his books all packaged together.
I imagine, like Greg, when we have a band on the show, we'll spend 30 minutes talking about barbecue.
Could be. Bad had a barbecue vlog, and I'm going like, I wish I were at Bad's house eating some of that barbecue.
Shrimp.
Yeah. Oh, Mark is saying I'm reading Lost Illusions now, so.
You know who you are.
I didn't catch that.
Thank you. All right. So, any last words? We've been at this hour and 45 minutes. Brandy, thank you so much for just chatting with
Brandy,
me.
Thank you.
It's so much fun. Like they said, it's like sitting in a pub with friends.
Yeah, I really like it. I resisted lives for a really long time. Now I'm just like, well, I shouldn't have said no to so many lives.
Too bad we can't actually.
We appreciate it.
With our cameras, and we all drink our beers and have our chicken wings, and
that would be fun.
I wonder if we can do it on a phone without internet access and just on our cellular, and just sit down in a pub and actually try to do a live with someone drinking and eating. And
I don't see why you couldn't do that. If you can do it at your house, you could certainly do it in a pub.
Well, I have a high-speed internet. No, Alan, you're not on high-speed internet.
Right. I also have high-speed internet. That's right. It would probably stop.
I don't have shite.
Do you have 5G on your phone?
Yeah.
I can
do it from the pub.
My phone has 4G, so I don't know how that does for this sort of thing.
Okay.
When I'm at home, I use my Wi-Fi,
Alan, we should try to think about that. We should try maybe not a full live show, but get a victim, join us and find a night and go to a pub and try it out.
You,
And then if
you
it
guys
works,
can do a test
Yeah.
run. You just do a test run before you do it for real. Just go
Yeah.
into
I
where
can
you
go
want to go.
to.
Check it out.
Greg knows I like to go to this pub on my street, Pizza Jerk. They have soft serve ice cream. They have the best pizza. They have like slushies and gin and tonic or margarita. But I usually get a stout. They have IPA beer. It's Portland. But I'm sure they'd let me film there.
I think most
I'd have to let them know.
yeah,
Set my
in the
tripod
corner.
up and
Make sure you're not filming
Yeah.
any of the other guests.
Yeah.
right. I sit in the same booth all the time. They know my name. I go there once a week. Pizza Jerk.
Yeah, Bad says
Link
it's a good
below.
idea. Mark says cheers all. Bad says I'm down to drink.
Yeah.
Bad says
I
probably
want
take
to
a
hold
tour
up in
home
the
after.
sun
Yeah,
again.
you know something that's got to be careful because you don't want to ever drink and drive. Okay. So
True.
last of the
I just
comments.
walk. I walk.
So let's
And I
call
wanna-
it a night.
Yep. And everybody get some sun.
Get some
This is
sun.
Brandy's card for the future.
All right.
Sun, number 19.
That sounds great. All right. Well, good night to all the guests that have been watching. And there we go.
All right. Thanks, man.